Hey everybody, Jonathan here. We're going to be going over a 45-minute routine today, starting with the reverse wheelbarrow. We're going to be on one yellow spring at the front facing the back of the machine. Your knees are going to be together. Your hands are going to be on top of the carriage. We're going to push the carriage out into a modified push-up position, soft bend in your elbow, draw the belly button up and in, and untuck the chin. Starting with an inhale, out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale as you press down your palms, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Now what we're doing is we're keeping our shoulders, our hips, and our knees in a diagonal line. We're keeping the core tight by scooping the belly button up into the spine or knitting the ribs together. You have a soft bend in your elbow so that you're activating the tricep and not allowing the weight to go too much into the wrist. Your target muscles are your tricep, your shoulders, and your lats as you pull the carriage in by pressing the palms down and inward. We have a hold and a pulse coming up next. In 10 seconds, you're going to push the carriage out halfway, and everybody's halfway is different. In 4, 3, 2, halfway out and hold, soft bend in your elbow, belly button to spine, keep the neck in line with the body. Starting with an inhale, out, 2, into, inhale, exhale. We're not here for much longer. We're going to be going back to full range shortly. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale as you press down your palms to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and then back to full range. We have a reverse saw coming up next. What we're going to do shortly is pull the carriage in, down to your forearms, palms down or up, and we're going to stay on our knees. We're almost there. You have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, pull the carriage in. We're going to go down to your forearms, shoulder width apart. We're going to push the carriage out into modified plank. Lightly lift your hip, belly button to spine. Press through your forearms to get your face up out of the carriage. Inhale as the arms lengthen. And then exhale as the elbows bend, pulling the carriage back in. You want to breathe in as the arms elongate because it's easier to push the carriage out. And then you want to exhale as you bring the carriage in because it's a little more difficult to pull it in slow. I like my palms down because sometimes when people's palms are up, they push the carriage out and they look like this, lifting up the forearm. So this ensures that I have my whole forearm down the entire time. Remember to keep the belly button to the spine or knit your ribs together by scooping the belly button up and in. You're holding a plank as you lengthen your arm and bend your elbows to slide the carriage back. We're not here for much longer. We're going into your 10-second hold and your pulse coming up next. In 10 seconds, we're going to lengthen your arms halfway out to hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, halfway out and hold. Make sure the hip is lifted and the belly button's to the spine. Now we're going to pulse in 3, 2, out, 2, into, inhale, exhale. We have full range coming up next. What we're going to do in 7 seconds is pull the carriage in, starting with an exhale in 3, 2, exhale as you bend your elbow to bring it in, and breathe in as you go forward. Now, it's not wrong if your elbow goes in past the shoulders, but you're going to lose tension, which means that you're taking a break. We're almost there. A little bit more to go. Try to keep the elbows from stopping, right? Keep the elbows stopped right under the shoulder. We're getting ready to go up to a plank to pike. 5, 4, 3, 2, crunch in with the carriage, up to your hands, up to your toes, legs and feet together harder, separate them wide to make it easier. Starting with an exhale, draw the belly button up towards the sky, looking at your toes, and then breathe in as you lower down slowly. I don't want you to think about your hands or your toes. I want you to think about lifting the hips or the belly button to the sky and then breathing in as you slowly lower down. Now you want to look at your toes as you pike so that you keep your neck in line with your spine, and then you want to breathe in as you slowly go down and out. If you ever need a break, you can take it. Sometimes I do a bear, sometimes I do a push-up just to get me off my wrist just for a little bit and work out a different muscle. We're almost there. We're going to be going into a hold and a pulse. Make sure that the wrists stay underneath the shoulder, never in past the shoulders. You got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, pike up halfway and hold, looking at your toes. Now we're going to be moving in 5, 4, 3, 2, down, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up, 2. Inhale, down, and exhale, up. We're not here for much longer. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale as you go up first, and then breathe in as you go down back to full range. We got a giant reverse kneeling crunch coming up next. What we're going to do is get on your carriage, kick to the back on your non-dominant leg so that we're using muscles that we normally don't use. You have 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, pull the carriage in, get on your carriage, kick to the back on your non-dominant leg. We're going to go ahead and tuck your knees against the strap, elbows in front of the platform strap, palms up, and I want you to drop your knees back in a plank. I want you to lightly lift your hip, pull the belly button to the spine. Now exhale as you tuck the chin, lift the belly button, round your spine, crunching in with your abs. Then breathe in as the knees release, untucking the chin. Now, what you do not want to do is don't pull the carriage in with your knees. A lot of people have to do that when they're starting out Lagree, but I want you to really think about lifting the belly button like there's a fire burning underneath your stomach as you round the spine into a rainbow or an angry cat. The more you think about the muscles that you're working, the more your brain is going to send something called motor units to activate that muscle. This exercise should feel slow and challenging. If you ever need to take a break, you just pull the carriage in, connecting the pieces of the machine together, and then back out when you're ready. We're getting ready for your variation coming up next. What we're going to do is bend your knee underneath your hip and hold your plank. Hold your crutch. You got 10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, round up into a crunch and hold. We're here for 8 more seconds. We're going to release the knees and then bend them forward in 4, 3, 2, back 2 inches, in 2 inches. Now, you have to be mindful of not just bending your knee forward. You must lift the belly button as you round the spine to pulse 2 inches in. You're here 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. Breathe in as you release, and then exhale as you round, lift, and crunch, holding the carriage in if you need to. What we have next is a spring change. We're going to be going into your standing outer thigh. We're going to crunch forward, knees under hips, and then grab the handlebars, making that change in 3, 2, crunch forward, and then let the carriage take you home. Now we're going to go to 1 red, 2 yellows, or 1 yellow, whatever you prefer. I like 2 yellows because that's going to push me. We're going to stand up on the machine, and our left foot is going to be underneath the strap. Right foot's going to be under the carriage strap. Toes are forward. I like my hands out in front of me. I want to push the carriage out as far as I can. Make sure that your knees aren't turned in and that you rotate the knees out. Now inhale as you go up and in 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling as you push through both of your feet against both of your straps as you hinge from the hips forward, looking over the edge of the frame. You breathe in as your feet come together, lifting the chin and the chest, stopping your feet underneath your shoulders or just outside. So that way you are maintaining tension, which means that there's always a tightness or basically tension so that it doesn't release. You want to think about a resistance band around both your thighs. And if you bring your feet too close together, what will happen is the resistance band will drop. Now, what we have next is a hold, pulse, and hold. In 9 seconds, we're going to go out halfway, making that change in 3, 2, go halfway out and hold, rotate out the knees, and we're just hanging out here. We're going to be pulsing out and in, 3, 2, out, 2, into, exhale, inhale. We're almost there. You got 9 more seconds before you push out, before you bring it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale as you press out, and then inhale as you come back in. Sometimes I bring my arms behind my back to pull the shoulder blades back from being hunched over in our cars, our desks. The reason why we hinge forward is to protect the lower back and also to activate a little bit more of the glutes and the outer thighs. We got a runner's lunge coming up in 6 seconds. Turning to face the left, left foot stays under the strap in 3, 2, and done. We're going to turn to face the front, your left foot under the strap, your right toe up against the carriage strap. I want you to go down into a lunge, push the carriage back. Now bend the knees, 1, 2, 3, 4, push, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now everybody's range of motion is going to be a little bit different. Sometimes we're not able to lengthen the leg all the way, but I want you to just try, even if it's 1 time. Remember that your brain is always telling you how far it thinks that you can go. So as soon as you go a little bit further, what it'll do is it's going to prove to your brain that you can actually do a lot more than you think. You want to exhale as you push through your balls and your toes of your foot to lengthen the leg, and then bend the knee to slowly bring the carriage in. If you're able to go down to a 90-degree angle, that's going to be a lot harder, and it's going to activate the inner and the outer thighs. Fingers on the bars if you need support. You got 8 seconds before you push the right leg back and hold. Halfway in 3, 2, halfway back and hold. Left heel presses down and forward as leverage to not feel like you're going forward. We're going to pulse in 3, 2, out, 2, into, exhale, inhale. Almost there. We have 10 seconds before we go back to full range. Pushing out first on an exhale in 4, 3, 2, exhale all the way out. Breathe in as you slowly bring it forward. You want to try to stop when your knee is underneath your hips to maintain tension. Otherwise, you're going to lose that tension, aka taking a break. We have squats coming up next. What we're going to do in 10 seconds is we're going to come up and get into a heavy squat facing the right in 4, 3, 2, slowly come up, shake off your leg if you need to. Both your feet are underneath the straps, toes facing forward. I like to push out shoulder width apart, hands out, and then squat down. If your knees are concave in, you need to rotate out the knees. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to exhale as you come up, driving through your heels, keeping your knees outward, especially if you have inward knees. Now, what I try to do is I try to hinge from my hips and I send my butt back before I bend my knees. Sometimes I like my arms out in front of me straight, and sometimes I like them in a prayer position. And what that makes me feel is a little bit more stable because of the hips going back and the arms going forward, it kind of gives me an equal balance from the front and the back side. We got holds and pulses coming up next. What we're gonna do in 11 seconds is meet me low and hold, and then we're gonna go up and down super slow after your hold. In 3, 2, meet me low and hold. We're here for 7 more seconds. We're gonna start your pulses in 5, 4, 3, 2, up, 2, down, 2, exhale, inhale, pressing through the heels to rise, sitting down and back as you go down. You have 7 seconds before you come back up. In 3, 2, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, booty back, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have donkey kick coming up next. What we're going to do in 15 seconds is we're going to kneel on the carriage behind the middle line, number 6. Then our hands are going to be under our shoulders. Our left foot will be on the bar or with our toes down and diagonal. In 3, 2, bring the carriage in, kneel behind number 6, and then I want you to have your hands under your shoulders. Your left foot is up against the bar. Push out 95% and hold. Now make sure that your knee isn't forward and your hands aren't all the way forward. So you're going to bring your knee and your hands under shoulders and hips. Turn down the left hip so your back is squared. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I see a lot that happens is when a client pushes the carriage out, once they extend their left leg, their hands and their knees will go forward like this. So you want to correct yourself if your hands or your knees start to go past the shoulders or the hip. Now, with our legs down in diagonal, we're working out the hamstrings and the outer thighs and glutes. You want to try to keep your back in a tabletop position like a table. We're wanting to keep the left hip turned down and in so that the back is more squared in a tabletop position. You have 10 seconds before you push out halfway and hold. In 5, 4, 3, 2, halfway out and hold. We're here for 7 more seconds to pulse out and in slow. 4, 3, 2, out, 2, into. Inhale, exhale. Breathe through this. 9 more seconds. Oh boy. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. 9 seconds before you push forward. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale as you push forward. Breathe in as you go back to full range. I like a donkey kick, but not until the end because I want to exhaust your legs to make sure that you really feel it, because sometimes people go too fast and some people don't hold the right form. Obliques in 4, 3, 2, and bring the carriage in. Go down to 1 yellow spring, kick to the back off your non-dominant leg. Your knees are going to be against the carriage strap. Elbows are going to be in front of the platform strap. And I want you to swing your legs off the left side, stacking your knees. Breathe in as the knees go back into modified plank. Exhale as you tuck your chin, lift the belly button, round the spine, and crunch. You want to make sure that you're not crossing your legs like this. It's going to cause possible hip imbalances. I know that it might feel a little bit more comfortable, but try to keep the right knee stacked on top of the left. You don't want to go all the way out like this where your lower back is arching. You only want to go back to where your back is a tabletop, and you want to engage the core the entire time. How you know that someone's not engaging their core is their back will look very arched as they go back. So remember to breathe in as you go back, and then exhale as you round, lift, and crunch. You got 9 seconds before we round up into a crunch and hold. Making that change in 3, 2, round up into a crunch and hold. Breathe through this, round the spine more, lift the belly button more. We're going to pulse in 3, 2, out, 2, in, 2. It's not just about keeping the knees in and out. It's about keeping the belly button up and in, the left side lifted, and the rounded spine position. We're not here for much longer. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale up and in, and then breathe in as you go back to full range. We have a bow and arrow coming up next. I call it bow and arrow, and it's a contemporary Pilates exercise that I saw. You can do it with weights, balls, or just without anything at all. Now we're getting into bow and arrow in 10 seconds. What we're going to do is crunch forward, grab the handlebars, and step down into the well in 3, 2, crunch forward, grab the handlebars, step down to the floor, and then sit on your right leg. Your calf is sideways, your thigh is forward. Your left foot goes underneath the carriage or the floor strap, moving it closer or further as needed. Your left hand will go up, right hand to heart, and meet me low. Now exhale as your hand goes up to your other hand. Bring it down to your heart. Tap the floor, look. Bring it back to your heart. Exhale up to hand. You breathe in as you go down, following your hands with your eyes in your head. And then you exhale as you reach up to the sky to tap your hand. You can do this with weights. You can do it with a ball, interchanging the ball from hand to hand. And you want to make sure that the shoulders are pulled back and that your shoulder, your hips, and your leg down below are all in a straight diagonal line. We're not here for much longer. What we're going to do is a mermaid twist coming up next. In 9 seconds, what we're going to do is meet me low and hold, making that change in 3, 2, meet me low, fingers to your temple, breathe in as you twist looking at the floor, exhale as you go up, breathe in, exhale, slow and controlled. Already halfway through, breathe through this. Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Exhale up, and we're going to go ahead and go to the other direction. Your right foot's going to go underneath the strap. Your left leg is going to go onto the platform. Right hand up, left hand to heart, meet me low. Now exhale as you reach up to your hand, down to the heart, look at the floor and tap. Exhale up to your hand, breathe in down to the floor. It's really interesting when we work out because even though there are some target muscles, we have to remember that everybody's lifestyle is a little bit different, meaning that sometimes the target muscle isn't really what people will feel. They might feel something else because they're dominant in certain other areas of their body. So it's always good to be able to explain that to people because sometimes people don't feel the right muscles. We're getting ready for the twist coming up next. We're going to go into your twist in less than 9 seconds. You're going to meet me low, fingers to temple, making that change in 3, 2, meet me low, fingers to temple, inhale down and exhale wall. Breathe in, twist, exhale, twist. Slow as you can go. We're halfway through. Tell yourself you can. You have 6 more seconds. We're going to come up in 3, 2, twist, exhale up, and we're done with, oh, nope, we're not. We're going to pull the carriage in, and then we're going to kneel on the carriage with your knees on top of the carriage in between or up against the strap. Your elbows are in front of the platform strap, palms up. Swing your legs off the right thigh, stacking your knee, and then round up into a crunch. Inhale as the knees go back into that plank position. Exhale as you round, lift, crunch. Now, some people won't be able to go in all the way where their knees are under their hips. Everybody's range of motion is always going to be different, and it's not because you're not strong or anything like that. Again, it's just lifestyle, and we just need to practice a little bit more. You want to make sure that the shoulders are right over the elbow, and then we're not pulling in with the knees or the hip flexor. We're keeping the core tight, belly button to spine, knitting the ribs together, or flexing your abs like someone's about to tickle you. Remember not to cross your legs, even though it does feel a little bit better, but you want to keep them stacked. Only going out and behind you so far that your back stays in a tabletop position. You have 8 seconds before we round up and hold. Making that change in 3, 2, round up into a crunch and hold, looking at your knees. We're not here for much longer. Lift the belly button, round the spine. We're going to pulse in 3, 2, out, 2, in, 2. Remember, it's not just the knees moving in and out. It's keeping the core or the belly button lifted from the right side, keeping the spine rounded. Don't think about your knees. Think about rounding, lifting, and crunching. You have 4, 3, 2, crunch forward, sit on your heels, and slowly let the carriage take you home. We're going to go back to our springs, 1 red, 2 yellows, or whatever you had. And then we're going to safely stand up, facing the other direction, working your right leg. Right foot will go underneath the platform strap. Left foot will go underneath the carriage strap. Arms will be out like an airplane or behind your back. We're going to push out as wide as you can. Make sure that your knees are turned out. Now we'll breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I have something called valgus knees. I don't think that's like the real complete terminology for it, but my knees concave in towards my belly button. So I have to make a really big conscious effort to make sure that my knees are always turned out. And I'm working on that right now, and I'll make some videos on it. I learned that a lot of women have valgus knees, and it's not that common in men, but it's because our outer thighs and our gluteus medius are underworked or undertrained or not as strong. So that causes everything to turn inward. So what we need to do is we need to work more outer thighs and gluteus medius. Remember that we're breathing in as we come up from the chin and the chest, and then exhale as you push out slow and controlled. Now I want you to hold halfway out. We're going to stay here for a little bit. You got 6 seconds before we pulse. 3, 2, out, 2, in, 2. Exhale, inhale. Breathe through this. Keep the knees rotated outwards. Breathe. Almost there. You have 10 seconds before you go into a hold. In, 3, 2, hold. We're here for 8 more seconds before we move. 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale out. Breathe in inwards. We have a runner's lunge coming up next. Remember to keep the feet from going in past the shoulders if you can. Again, it's not wrong, but the whole point of this is to keep time under tension, meaning that it needs to stay heavy and tight against the legs at all times. In 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. We're going to turn to face forward. Right foot stays under strap. Left foot goes behind you, balls and toes up against the strap. I want you to bend the knee to go down, push the carriage out, and then come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to breathe in as the knees go forward underneath the hip to maintain tension, and then exhale as you lengthen the leg, pushing through the balls and the toes of your feet. Now, sometimes we feel pushed forward as our left foot pushes out. So what I like to do is I bring my arms in as the knee comes in, and then I push forward as I push out. This is kind of like two heavy walls closing in on you, and you're pushing against the wall in front of you, and you're pushing through your toes behind you. You can also put your fingers first, not your palms, onto the handlebars as leverage, pushing down and forward to not feel like you're being pushed forward. And if you're able to, try to put hands on hips. We got 3, 2, halfway out and hold. This is not my strong leg. We have 4, 3, 2, out, 2, in, 2. Anytime it burns, take a really deep breath in and flush it out through your exhale. Well, we're almost through this. 9 more seconds. We're going to be pushing back first. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale out. And then breathe in forward. Take a break if you need to. I'm starting to feel it in my lower back. So remember to listen to your body. Back to full range. We're getting ready for your heavy squats coming up next. Usually in my weaker leg, I try to go a little bit slower, take breaks if I need to. That way it's going to get faster and catch up with the other leg. You have 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale as you come up. Shake off your leg, pound it out. Okay, squats. Your feet are shoulder width apart. Squat down and back. Rotate out your knees. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Booty back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, I like to hinge from the hips and send my butt back before I bend my knees to load my glutes and hamstrings. Some of us will feel it more in the hamstrings by doing this, and you're going to feel a lengthening and a stretch. Then it's going to load into your glutes and hamstrings. You can have your hands out in front of you or hands like a prayer, whatever you prefer, and you want to try your very best to not lock your knee at the top. What that's going to do is it's going to make you lose tension and make it like you're taking a break. Now we got a hold and pulse coming up shortly. Breathe in down. Exhale up. 7 seconds left. We're going to meet me low in 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. You have 8 seconds before we start going up and down slowly. Knees out. 5, 4, 3, 2, up, 2, down, 2. Exhale, inhale. We're almost through this. 9 seconds before we come up slow. In 5, 4, 3, 2, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, booty back, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our final leg exercise coming up next. What we're going to be doing is we're going to do a donkey kick. We're going to kneel in the carriage behind the middle line. Number 6. In 8 seconds with our right foot up against that handlebar. 4, 3, 2, and done. Smack it out if you need to. We're going to go down to number 6, knees wide, hands under shoulders. I want you to bring your right foot up to the bar, push out. Make sure that the knees under the hip, hands under the shoulder. Turn the right hip down, bend. 1, 2, 3, 4, push. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't lock out your knees at the full range. We want to make sure that we keep a slight baby bend, micro bend, or little bend in the knee so that we keep tension. Remember, don't push forward with your arms. Don't push forward with your bottom knee. All the weight is in the right leg. Don't push forward all the way and then start to push out more with your hands or your knees. We're almost there. You want to inhale as you go back and then exhale as you start to push. I find it interesting how I feel like we should exhale on our effort and inhale on a release, but classical Pilates teaches you the opposite. You got 6 seconds. I'll find out the answer and I'll get back to you. 4, 3, 2, halfway out and hold. We're here for 9 seconds before we pulse. 4, 3, 2, out, 2, into, out, 2, into. Oof. Almost there. You got 10 seconds left. Little pulses from the midway point. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Good. We got upper body coming up next. What we're going to do is a side kneeling single arm reverse fly in a bird dog position. You're going to be on 2 to 3 yellow springs. You have 11 seconds. Smack your legs sometimes just to make it cooperate. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. We're going to take off that red strap handle and then, or spring, and then we're going to be on 2 to 3 yellow springs. We're going to grab the handle, the short hard handle, and we're going to bring our knees and our hands wide apart. The closer to the back of the platform, the easier. The further away, the harder. Long strap will be light. Short handle will be harder. I want you to first pull the cable out to the side, and then your right leg will go up. Then what we're going to do is breathe in as the hands go down to the right wrist. And then we're going to exhale as you pull out with your knuckle like you have a wing. You want to try to have 40% of weight into the left, 60% of weight into the left knee. And you want to have 40% into the right wrist with a soft bend in your elbow. If this is too difficult, move to the right or use the long strap. As a modification, you can bring your right knee down. As a little bit of a challenge, you can lift your right knee up. But bird dog position, long leg out. You can add a hamstring curl, bending the knee in or the heels in, and then lengthening the legs. We want to pull as you bend the knee, and then we want to release the leg as you go in towards the wrist. We got stamps with our feet coming up next in 5, 4, 3, 2, arm out, leg up. Now stamp the ceiling with your foot. Sometimes our toes are outwards, which is what I do sometimes. So you got to think about turning the pinky toe in and stamp the ceiling with your foot. We're not here for much longer. You have 11 seconds, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. We're going to go ahead and pick up the other strap, and we're going to do a chest expansion. I like the short hard handle as a challenge, but you can use the long strap. We're going to kneel at the center of the carriage and come up to our hands with our knuckles back to work more of our tricep. I want your gaze forward, roll back and down the shoulders, pull the belly button to the spine, and pull the arms out. We're going forward in 3, 2, forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, pull, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in as the palms go forward, doing your best to stop your hands by your hips, and then exhale as you pull the cables back as far as you can. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale through your lips. Now, it's really interesting how some of us like to hiss like this. I mean, I used to do that, but then I found out that I like to breathe out my mouth, kind of like yoga. So I'll take a breath in and then go, gotta wipe some sweat. I hate it. I don't know how people do it with sunscreen when it goes into the eyeball. 8 seconds, we're gonna hold the cable back. In 4, 3, 2, knuckles pull back and hold, belly button to spine, gazes forward. We're gonna be pulsing in 5, 4, 3, 2, forward 2, back 2, forward 2, back 2. To modify, you can sit down on your heels. This is going to make it a little bit lighter, but remember, when you got enough energy, get back up on those knees. We're not here for much longer. We have a sexy back coming up next in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Bring your arms back as far as you can. Hinge forward. I like palms back if you need a modification or tired. And then bend the elbows as they go down. And then press through your palms as you press back. Now, what I normally see in this position is someone is way over like this, but you want to think about being in an upright diagonal position. You can use the tops of your foot and press down into the carriage. I see some people up on their toes. I prefer my tops of my foot down. Sometimes arms are low like this, and they're doing something like this, but we got to try to keep the tricep lifted and then bend the elbow and then press back. This is a pretty challenging exercise. It's called sexy back. Palms back, I believe, is medium. Holding the handles like a joystick and pulling it back is easy. And I think that the knuckles back is the hardest because you have no leverage to press through your palms to bring the cables back. We're not here for much longer. You have 10 seconds before you lengthen your arms. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lengthen the arms and hold. You have 8 seconds feeling the triceps burn. We're going to pulse in 3, 2, down, up, down, up. Inhale, exhale. Sit down completely if you need to. Take a break. We're almost done. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. We're going to drop the cable, and then we got one more exercise, that kneeling single arm reverse fly in a bird dog position. We're going to be turning to the other wall. Your right hand's going to hold a short handle, long strap, whatever you did before. Your knees are wide apart, left palm down. You're going to pull your arm out like a wing, left leg raises. Now I want you to breathe in as your hands go down to your left hand or wrist. Now, everybody's going to be a little bit different. Some of us have longer arms, some of us have shorter arms. If you bring the hand into the wrist and you start to lose tension or the cable no longer feels tight, you want to stop a little bit further away. Remember, 40% of weight into the right, 60% of weight into the right knee, and then 40% of weight into the left arm. Make sure that you have a soft bend in your elbow, and then breathe. Now remember, you can add in that hamstring curl if you like, bending the knee, bringing the heels towards your butt as the arms go out, and then breathing in as you bring the arms down to the wrist and lengthen the leg. This is the last part of class. You have 9 seconds before we hold the cable out and stamp the ceiling with your foot. In 4, 3, 2, pull the cable out, bend your knee, foot flat, stamp up, down. Remember to turn the toe in. Almost here. Keep it going. You have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done.